Hi, Pete's fans. Welcome to another episode of For Pete's Sake, your podcast, Everything Peterborough Petes. I am your co-host, Josh Reeser. As always, in the seat next to me, my twin brother and encyclopedia of OHL knowledge, Matt Reeser. We're recapping the first week in the OHL, and it probably could have gone a little bit better in the minds of some Petes fans, but we will break down both games for you. The Petes played against the Kingston Frontenacs and the North Bay Battalion. So we will definitely have our reaction and recap of those games. We have a couple of roster moves and just some quick team notes that were announced before the first game, which was after our last podcast. So we'll just review those quickly. We have our 3 stars of the week, which we like to pick, and even in a tough week like this, there are always some standouts, and we like to reward great effort, so we'll go through those. We will look around the rest of the OHL, some teams starting out strong, some other teams not so much. We'll give you the details, and then we'll take a look at the week ahead as the Petes continue. They start to a fresh new season. So let's dive in. First off, like I said, couple quick roster notes. Before the game, it was announced that defenseman William Haley was traded to the Guelph Storm for a 2027 13th round pick. The Petes acquired him last year at the trade deadline for a 2027 15 round pick. So we did a little bit better in that trade if you're keeping score. He played 26 games for the Petes down the stretch, netting 3 assists. It's another, I think, just personnel-wise, there's a log jam on defense. They have some young guys pushing for some spots in Meritet, Gowan, and then you look at Eula, who had a pretty strong preseason camp, made the team, and a decent start to the year as well. So there wasn't room on the Blue Line forum. Strohack will be back after his 2-game suspension as well, so he should be back next game. Another thing it says to me is just your ice time isn't guaranteed on this team, and I think that competition's healthy. I think even if you were on the team last year, you got to earn it. Guys aren't being given shots just because they played before. You saw Wolds, you saw Haley, even saw Quinn Binney, Valeris, who young guys came in and were able to win those roster spots. So the competition's high. I think you need that on a young team that's looking to prove themselves. So that's what I'm seeing. And we wish him all the best. Seemed like a good guy. Played some decent defense down the stretch of the year. Just ran into too many guys.
Numbers game.
Absolutely. And additionally, the leadership team was announced, so no surprise, Jonathan Malee, he was the captain for the second half of last year after McCoy was traded. He'll return as the captain. Assistant captains are the other overagers, Ryder McIntyre and Chase Lefebvre, as well as second-year players, Braden McCullum and Carson Cameron. Lefebvre and McIntyre will alternate. Lefebvre will wear the A at home, McIntyre on the road. So I think pretty decent leadership squad, good mix of veterans and young guys. You want some guys around to continue to pass on culture and experience. So some second-year guys. There are other guys on the team that'll obviously be important leaders. You think Page, Matacek, Strohack, guys that have played in the league for a while. Jankin, who's been around for a bit as well. So just because they didn't get a letter doesn't mean they're not part of the group. And so I wasn't all that surprised to see those names getting recognized. I think it seems like a decent group of guys, and on a young team, like I said, leadership's going to be important. Yeah. There's going to be stretches where things aren't going well, and there's going to be stretches where things are going great, and you need leadership to kind of keep you going, keep you grounded, and keep you focused. Yeah. So I am encouraged by that. Well, let's get into the action, shall we? The first week is in the books. The Petes played 2 games, like we said. Started off the season just like last year against the Kingston Frontenacs. Unfortunately, unlike last year, it was a defeat this year, 7-2. the Kingston Frontenacs coming away with the victory. Bit of an off start for the Petes. Kingston would score 43 seconds into the game. That was a bit of an issue last year, giving up early goals. Hopefully not a trend for this year as well. They also added a shorthanded goal in the final 30 seconds of that first period. So goals in the first minute and the final minute, they say that's a killer. It certainly was for the Petes in this one. Peterborough did respond with 2 goals. Chase Lefebvre continues his hot scoring streak from the preseason. Gets a real nice goal. He added an assist later in the game. Caden Taylor also scored on a nice release on a setup. And that actually made it a 1-goal game a 2-goal game at the time.
1 goal was 3-2.
3-2. It was 3-2 at one point. So the Petes fell behind and then kind of, closed the gap. It was tight at one point, but ultimately what did the Petes in was one of the things was their power play. Kingston added 3 power play goals in the third period. They ended up going 3 for 12 on the evening. 12 penalty kills is not a recipe for success on many nights. Peterborough went 1 for 6, so they did capitalize, but you give up twice as many power plays as you receive. That's likely not going to do it. And a shorthanded goal. So the special teams did let them down a little bit. Captain Jonathan Malik got in a fight with Luke McNamara. You don't see him chuck or throwing the mitts and dropping the gloves and throwing them. So it was kind of like a after the play, a little bit of a scrum and a hit, and then they went at it. So at least he's still going and he's playing hard, but not a guy I would have expected to throw down his gloves. Kingston got 53 shots on net. Obviously, again, too high. We want to bring that number down. First game, so some of the guys, maybe their structure isn't quite where it needs to be. We'll work on that. Bowen made 46 saves. He was the starter. Played the full game. Levac and Fitzgerald, they made their debuts, combined to win 57% of their draws. And 12 players on Kingston recorded a point in this game in a very balanced attack. Also making their OHL debuts for the Petes, I mentioned Levesque and Fitzgerald. They had Eula and Gowan as well. So some young guys getting a taste of OHL hockey for the Petes. Probably some nerves, probably some excitement. So all in all, not the start you're hoping for as a fan or as a player, but you get that one out of the way. There's some learning experience. There were some good things. There were moments where the Petes were buzzing. There was hard work. You saw guys like Page who were just dogs on bones all night. You saw some good forechecking from the fourth line. Nico Addy was throwing his weight around. So I saw some good things, and I think it's just a sign of a young team still.
And they played them even in the second period. So if you take the second period, you take away 3 power play goals, you even that up, you've got a close game. Yeah,
there's stretches where the Petes were playing with Kingston, absolutely. They need to work on their discipline. Like I said, 12 penalties is not good. And there were some bad penalties.
Yeah, behind the play.
There was a cross check behind the net in the offensive zone. You just can't have that.
No.
You're more willing to give up a penalty if it's going to save a goal or if it's sticking up for your team. But they're going to have to work on that. Be a hard-nosed team to play against, but you can't give up that many power plays.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
And your lines don't get going because you're killing and on the power play so much that you can't establish your lines.
Absolutely.
And guys get tired because I think Matashuk probably played half the game because he was killing every 2 seconds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you can't get your young guys going.
For sure.
So it's a tough, but overall there are some positives.
Yep.
And they'll build off it.
Yep.
And Kingston has just as many losses as the Petes because they lost their next 2 games on the weekend.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
They're a beatable team.
Yep. It's early on. Absolutely. I am in no way panicking yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So the next night they headed to North Bay. The battalion are a strong veteran team. Mm-hmm. They play defensive. They have 3 defensemen that are 6'5", 6'6", and 6'7". So their reach advantage on the back end. They play hard. They've been to 3 Eastern Conference finals in the last 3 years. They've got the Romani, Van Steetzl, Wakely didn't play, but they've got that line, and then they've got the guys that have developed behind them. A great development system going on there, and then you've got the LeBlanc brothers who always seem to have the Pete's numbers.
Yeah.
So this one was just a case of the Petes actually came out flying in this one. They got really close to scoring in the first 10 minutes twice. They ended up drawing a 5-minute major on a head check on Ula. That was kind of the turning point of the game, because North Bay would score shorthanded, LeBlanc would score shorthanded, and they also hit a crossbar on a 2-on-1 on that same 5-minute penalty kill. And that kind of got North Bay going and engaged. And then they scored in the last minute of the first period again, which is kind of a trend from the first game. We'll see what happens. We'll kind of monitor that.
Yeah, you got to bear down in those moments.
McCallum got tossed for slew footing in the first period. And they were playing with 11 forwards. So now you're down to 10 forwards. They went with 70 because they put Marintetti in the lineup.
Yep. Get him his first game.
Parrish was out, and Levesque didn't play in this one. But overall, I thought they held their own. They came out strong, which is what you like to see. They just couldn't get that goal. They had chances, definitely did. Fitzgerald and Gowan actually got in their first OHL fights. There was more wrestling matches than actual fisticuffs. It was on the same play, so Gowan was charged with the second man in. I don't know if that's suspension worthy.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and hear. We haven't heard anything yet.
Usually slew footing gives you 2 games.
Yeah, so potentially some guys out for the upcoming games. So McCollum and maybe Gowan. Yeah.
Bowen made 22 saves in the second period. 45 on the night. So again, they're giving up 49 shots is not a great recipe for success, but they did get 36 shots on North Bay.
Yep.
So they're able to penetrate through their defense and their offensive forwards and get some good chances. It was just that ability to put those in the back of the net, which they'll do as they get more experience and comfortable with each other as line mates. They went 0 for 2 on the power play, and their penalty kill, they actually killed off 5 of 6 power plays. So you take the 2 games, they had 12 penalties to kill off in the first game. They killed off 9 of them, and you killed off 5 in this one.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, I mean, catch 22.
14.
Like, you want to be known for having a good penalty kill, but you don't want to be known for having a good penalty kill because you're using it too much.
Yeah.
Like, so, again, when those opportunities come up, you have to kill them, but... we got to decrease the amount of time in the box, for sure.
But overall, I thought their penalty kills, they're aggressive. They attacked the puck.
Yep.
They stuck up for Ula when he got hit. Fitzgerald and Gowan are not afraid, not intimidated.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't think they would be. McIver recorded the shutout for North Bay, and they actually held Van Steetzl and Romani to 1 point combined.
That's pretty good.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
And you get another shot at them this upcoming week. So
get some revenge.
Yeah. So it was a 4-0 loss, but at the end of the day, there's definitely some positives. I thought Ula played well. I thought Jenkins is showing kind of getting the rust off because he didn't really play a lot in the preseason. And the forwards are going to start. There's a matter of time.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get shut out every game. North Bay's a good team. They gave up 1 goal this entire week. So we're not the only team that can't score on them. So just take it with a grain of salt. Learn some things, get better, and I think they will.
Absolutely.
Which leads us to the 2 teddy bears for the...
Absolutely. If you're keeping track, 2 goals for the Petes. That's 2 teddy bears. Matt's got them right there. Very nice.
I want to add to our number this week with some big goal scoring.
Absolutely. Let's fill that net.
Yeah, so let's quickly, some overall thoughts on these games. Zach Bowen, what can you say? 91 saves in 2 games. Faced 106 shots, I think.
Just to touch on it, it looks like we said, it looks like Stützle, kind of the odd man out, which was what you see Zach Bowen and Mason Johnson dressed for the games. Like, that to me indicates that Stützle's more or less, his they're shopping him.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that means he'd get into a game so that other teams can kind of see where he's at. I think they kind of already know, but hate to see him go. We were thinking that might be a way the Petes would go, and the other 3 overagers certainly can help this team. So not a knock on them by any means. It'll be sad to see Stützke go when he does, but just an update there.
Yeah. So we kind of mentioned some of these thoughts, but like the penalty kill, there was an over-reliance on it. 18 power plays for opposing teams in 2 games is too many.
Yep.
Giving up early, good and late period goals. You just got to kind of be like, look at the clock and as a team dig in for that last minute. Hard to do. I'm not saying these are easy things, but if they can tighten those up, it will lead to a lot more
for sure
chances for them to come out of games with victories.
Yep.
I thought their young guys showed some potential in some difficult areas. I thought Ula looked back good on the back end. Marintetti, Gowan, Levesque, and Fitzgerald and Parrish all had their moments, which is what you want to see. They're growing. And I think this, like the D structure, like we mentioned, like and the power play are 2 big things for them. They sometimes it seems like they can't get that first pass up out of the zone.
Right.
Which is you'll learn as a team, and you'll learn where guys want to get the puck and where they want to, like what's their natural tendencies
for sure
as the season goes on. But those are just some overall thoughts I had. But I don't know if there's anything else you.
I just want to reiterate, it's early.
Yeah.
If there's a panic button, my hand is nowhere near it. But the panic button's in the other room. Like it's not. It's 2 games. Young team. They're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I believe in this coaching staff. I believe in this roster. I think they're better than the games they showed. I think they will get better than the games they showed. It takes a while for young guys that are, grew up being the best player on their team to now you have to fit into a system and be maybe more of a team game. So it just, you look at video, you look at practice, and I am confident that the guys will improve. I think we'll see other games like this during the year. It's just a young team. Mistakes are going to happen, and unfortunately, you play a good team, mistakes are going to end up in the net. So I'm not panicking at all. No. We'll touch on it a little bit when we look around. There's other teams that have started off the same or even worse than the Petes. So no way panicking. Let's continue to support the boys. They can get there. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Yeah. Well, shall we move on to our 3 stars of the week?
Yep.
Yeah, there were some standouts, disappointing 2 losses for the fans, but we'll throw some shout outs. Obviously, you can't look past Zach Bowen, 91 saves, as you mentioned. 22 saved second period against North Bay. He looked like he was dialed in at moments, and then just faced a barrage of shots. And so he held his own for long stretches. Looks like he is up to the task of making some really good saves and keeping his team in it. Yeah. Chase Lefebvre, goal and an assist, first game. Looks like the offensive leader for this team right now. I don't know if it's too early to pick him to be, the point leader on the team, but he looks like a guy that's just confident, dialed in, went to development camp with the Red Wings, and he's back and he hasn't missed a beat. He was 60% on the draws as well, so he looks like he's flying out there. He looks confident. He's shooting the puck. He's playing in all situations. So good to have him back. And then we're going to throw in Liam Ladd, second-year player, one of Maddie's favorites. And he is growing on me as well. Solid defensive game. He was a -1 over the 2 games. So when you give up 11 goals, -1 as a defenseman, I thought he made some really nice stick checks. I think he looks bigger this year. I can't confirm, but
hits too.
Yeah, he's using his size better. His transition game's always been his calling card, and it's right back where it was. Honorable mention for the 4th unofficial star, Cenk Ula. I thought he had a strong debut in his couple games.
He doesn't panic. He moves the puck well.
Yeah, transitions really well, and he was in the right position. Yeah, good active stick. Yeah, I liked what I saw. Yeah, I agree with you.
Chase LaFinish.
That's right, I like that. Chase LaFinish. Yeah. Oh, Maddie coming up with some great. Yeah, I love that. All right, just looking around the league, some other quick hits from OHL teams. Former Pete Donovan McCoy named captain of the Sudbury Wolves. Well-deserved. Yeah. Great captain while he was here. Tough to see him traded last year. He's back in Sudbury, and we play them coming up pretty soon.
2 weeks from Thursday.
2 weeks. We didn't get a chance to give him the ovation last year. Let's give him an ovation this year. Some big name players return to the OHL. Romani, we actually talked about. Misa. Rakoff is going to be joining his new team down in Brampton. And I always pronounce this guy's name wrong. Zane Parega, I want to say. A defenseman from Saginaw, who was selected in this year's draft as well. They're all returning to the OHL, so we'll see some firepower back. Martone and the Steelheads, we mentioned that they were a team to watch. They are now actually officially number 1 in the OHL power rankings after this week, and you can see why. 2-0 record included a 7-0 rout of the Bulldogs, which were another team that are expected to be high up there. Porter Martone leads that team, and they're only going to get better with Rakoff coming back. So watch out for Brampton. I think a big year coming from those guys. Other undefeated teams, North Bay, obviously, we just mentioned, only giving up 1 goal. Guelph's looking pretty good, and Niagara is also, it's a team I mentioned, might have a similar trajectory to the Petes, but off to a better start with a couple wins.
Yeah. And Guelph played Owen Sound back-to-back.
Absolutely.
Like Owen Sound's kind of rebuilding. Guelph, nothing to take away from Guelph.
No,
Guelph
you got to win those
team.
games, but I agree.
Carter George is back for Owen Sound too.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to be there the whole year.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably move to a contending team.
Contending team that needs goaltending for some picks of young guys.
Yeah.
2025 NHL Draft prospect Michael Misa of the Saginaw Spirit has scored 7 goals in 3 games so far this year. 7 goals.
Yeah.
That is a very hot start. Wow. Like that's all you can say. The other impressive stat we're about to bring up, the OHL's first overall pick, Ethan Belchitz. 4 goals, 4 assists. He's second overall in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
He had a huge game against Kitchener. They won 12-2. He put up 6 points, and they've actually scored as a team. Windsor scored 21 goals in 3 games. He looks like he has been shot out of a cannon to start the year.
Yeah.
And he's actually the first rookie in the OHL to have a 6-point game since Matt Pumple of your Peterborough Petes, and that was back in 2010.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see when we face off against them. I think only 1 home game, 1 road game, but it'll be interesting to see how we fare against Ethan Belchitz, who looks like a real solid pick at this point.
Yeah, and people don't remember, Windsor got off to that horrible start last year, and then remember they changed their coach and went on a run in the second half?
Yep.
So they built off that. It looks like they've gotten better.
Yep.
They've got their guys back from camp. I think they didn't lose anybody. And then you add him into the mix. Windsor, I think, can surprise some teams. I don't know if they'll be top. Because Saginaw got their whole team back almost.
That's true. Yeah.
So that London could get their whole team back.
Yeah.
So, but in my opinion, and I'll ask you this, I think the power this year is in the East.
I agree.
I think the better teams are in the East. Last year you had that 4-headed monster in the West. I think you could have a 4-headed monster in the East this year.
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's the East turn to roll. Yep.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the week ahead. We no time to dwell on the past. The Petes will obviously practice, watch some video, but they're right back at it. So who are the victims in these upcoming games?
Yeah. So North Bay makes a trip to the Memorial Center on Thursday. Second meeting of the season.
Get some revenge.
Yeah, get some revenge. Graydon Strohack will be eligible to return for this one. Difficult team to come back against, so you need to not dig yourself a hole against North Bay. They're dangerous. They have dangerous offensive talent across their lineup, big defense. They play physical. These two teams don't seem to like each other, as mentioned by the 2 fights this previous week. So it should be a battle. And they only gave up 1 goal, so their goaltending strong. They're just a very well-balanced team, and if you give them any life, then you're in trouble.
Yep.
So you need to just play kind of that gritty hockey, up off the boards, in deep, hit the defense, don't get fancy, and just a complete 60 minutes, because if you don't, you're probably not walking away with a win against North Bay.
Yep, full effort.
I don't know if you agree with that
100%.
segment. But
100%. Couldn't have said it better.
yeah, but they did play moments against them, like we said, in 36 shots on the road against them, so they can beat this team.
Yep.
I think the Petes will win this game. I think they're fired up from their first week, and they want to get in that win column, and I think you'll see a hungry, desperate team on the ice on Thursday.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then they go up to Sudbury to face McCoy and Scott Barney's team up there on the Friday. First meeting of the season. This Sudbury made a push last year. Remember, they had Goyette and Musty.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of trades. That's why they got McCoy.
Yeah.
So a lot of roster turnover this year for this team. Graduating players. They traded away a ton of their overagers, because I think they had like 7, and they traded 4 for like a bunch of draft picks. So they're kind of rebuilding, retooling. Last season, the Petes actually did really well against Sudbury. They won 2 of the games, and then lost one in overtime. And lost.
They played Sudbury strong.
Yeah,
one of those teams.
So, and these games usually get chippy especially after that playoff series they had with
We saw it
Sudbury.
in the preseason, even. Yep.
So, you could expect a pretty wild one again, potentially. But this is to Sudbury, I think, is a team where you can really judge where you're at.
Yep.
Because they're a team kind of similar to the Petes, reloading, rebuilding, a couple veterans, a lot of young guys. So I think this is a game where you can kind of see what your young guys are matched up against another team's young guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if you agree with that
I do.
kind of logic, but I could see a 2-win week.
Yeah.
And then
Is that what you're
right,
calling?
You're right back at 500.
You calling 2 wins?
I'm calling 2 wins.
I was going to go 1-1. Not that I don't believe in the Petes. I think, young team, a couple more inconsistencies, and then they're going to start to figure it out. So I'm calling 1-1. First win at home against North Bay. We'll come out firing, like you said. And then, unfortunately, I think a loss against the Wolves, but it'll be close. And then, we're going to get some confidence going, and we'll get some more wins going forward. So 1-1 this week is my call.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it.
2-0. Mason Johnson will get the win in Sudbury.
Good call. I would love to see that. I'd love to see that. Matt with the calls. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, anyways, Petes fans, thank you again for listening to our podcast. Thank you to those that tuned into our interview last week and our episodes ongoing. We'll have this one for you on Wednesday again, and it'll officially be October by the time this drops. So stay warm out there as the weather changes. Make sure you get down to the rink, support the boys if you can. If not, follow them on the radio, on TV. These boys pick up on your support, and it's a great thing to have an OHL franchise in your city. We are very lucky. So let's support these young kids. Good times are coming forward. You can listen to our podcast, as always, on Spotify. You can find it on our Facebook page. You can also find it on our YouTube channel, and the link is posted on our Facebook page as well as our Instagram. We will be releasing all those, and if you want to ever comment on our videos or our posts, please do so. We love hearing feedback from you fans. So let's get excited for another couple of weeks of hockey, and as always, go Petes, go!